Basically, it started when these magical cards started to rain down from the sky one day. And with every card, there is a Bakugan or a few Bakugan or whatever. What are Bakugan? So basically, in another dimension or another universe or whatever, there is a world called Vestroya, and it's split into 6 parts. Each part embodies an attribute. So there's Pyrus, which is fire, Darkus, which is darkness, Aquas, which is water, Ventus, which is wind, Chaos, which is light, and then Subterra, which is earth. And Bakugan are the inhabitants of Vestroya, and obviously they have different attributes depending upon where they are in Vestroya. The reason why the Bakugan appeared in Earth to begin with, along with the flying cards, is because there's this one offy ass Bakugan named Naga who doesn't even have an attribute, and because he feels as though he doesn't belong anywhere, he becomes power hungry, right? And so basically in the middle of Vestroya, you know how the sun has a core, Earth has a core, Vestroya also has a core, but it has 2 of them. One is the Infinity Core, one is the Silent Core, and they basically power Vestroya, right? So Naga opens a portal, flies through it, and then goes to the Silent Core, and then tries to absorb the Silent Core's power, but gets absorbed as a result. And this just causes a ripple effect and throws off the balance of Vestroya. The attributes are merging with one another, and then obviously some of the Bakugan make it to Earth, which is why they had flying cards and Bakugan appearing and shit. Now, I don't know what's good with this version of Earth, but apparently when cards fall from the sky, it doesn't make the news at all. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on with this over here. Like, if cards fell from the sky over in this real Earth that I'm living in, this shit would have been COVID news, but literally their parents don't know about Bakugan. Like, what? Anyways, Dan and his friends and a bunch of other kids around the world made up the rules to Bakugan, so I'm going to explain them to you right now. So the battle starts when 2 players open their field cards, which puts them in this little hyperspace, this pocket in reality, and time stops for whoever's battling. So the game starts with 2 players throwing down a gate card on the opposite ends of the field, i.e. opponent A's gate card is in front of opponent B and vice versa. Bakugan are these metallic balls which can pop out in a certain shape. You throw these balls and they open, turning into a giant creature, all of which are based on an animal or a mythological creature. Obviously, the Bakugan's ball shape alludes to what it will turn into once it's thrown onto a gate card. Each player has 3 gate cards and 3 Bakugan all day. They take turns either throwing down a Bakugan or throwing down a gate card and then a Bakugan. Once 2 Bakugan land on the same card, the fight starts. Each Bakugan has a power level. In this season, high 200s is low, mid 300s is average, and high 300s to low 400s is high. This power level is called G power, or Gs, and can be influenced by ability cards as well as the gate cards that were thrown down. Ability cards usually do the same by means of a special effect. For example, my dragon will now shoot a ball of fire at you because I used an ability card, which increased its power level by 50 Gs. Like, you're following me so far? Gate cards are more general to increase this Bakugan or decrease this Bakugan's power level, but I mean, they'll become more complex when the show continues. The Bakugan who lands a couple of hits while having the higher G power wins the fight, and there are 3 fights to be won before winning the entire game. Also keep in mind that there are obviously 6 attributes, which is why there are different Bakugan colors and different powers. So there you have it. That's how the game is played. And now let's get into the season. Bakugan Battle Brawler starts off with Dan coming home from school, getting some Bakugan. He says some slick shit to his mom and then walks out the door. So then Dan rides his bike to the park and meets up with this fat ass motherfucker and his little brother Gabriel, who challenges him to a Bakugan battle. So they run up their battle or whatever, but then Dan ends up beating the type 2 diabetes out of this dude Shuji. And so he goes to a Zoom meeting with his friends and starts boasting about how he's the shit and everything. But then they're like, pipe down, little nigga. You're like rank 100. Maybe in a couple years you'll be at the top. Going over the friends real quick, there's the one you see on your screen right now, Runo, who low-key has a crush on Dan but doesn't let it show, and they end up arguing more than anything. Then there's Julie, who most definitely has a crush on Dan and most definitely lets it show. Then you have Alice Pretty Ass, who's quiet and reserved but actually knows a lot about the game of Bakugan. And bro, oh my gosh, I want to tell you guys right this second, not even 10 minutes into this video, but I'm not going to do that, okay? Then you have Marucho, who's caring, just like a good person, and he's really book smart and really rich. But he's like the little baby out of the group, and he gets shunned by everybody. Then you got my nigga Shun, a literal ninja. He's ranked number 6 in the entire world, really good at Bakugan, and he's distanced himself from the group. So Dan's chilling, and he gets stopped by this fat motherfucker once again, and this time he's using a whole nother attribute of Bakugan. Like, what? How the fuck are you gonna switch up your attribute? In the middle of a fight, a really powerful Bakugan, Drago, gets teleported in the middle of their hyperspace from Vestroya, and after the fight ends up being Dan's partner, but he won't talk to Dan. But the problem is, Dan heard this nigga talk, so he's like, yo, my Bakugan talks. And that was a big ass deal, I guess. Now, Runo's all alone walking in a park and gets spliffed up by this nigga Masquerade, our new main antagonist. She got beat so badly that they didn't even show the fight. They just showed her screaming, bro. So meanwhile, Dan is sitting here trying to get Drago to talk to the kids at school. And Drago is thinking to himself, like, motherfucker, I am not your toy. But then the teacher, Miss Hardass, comes in and is like, yo, shut the fuck up before you get detention. But then this bitch walks up to the board and starts teaching the 12-year-old kids about hypotenuse theorem, Helmholtz equation. Bitch, what the fuck is this? Shit, so Dan's over here trying to scrub Drago, trying to get him clean and shit. And then Drago pops out of his ball form, yells at this nigga Dan. And so Dan is like, ha, caught your ass talking. You hear everybody? My Bakugan can talk. And then the teacher was like, yo, do you hear me talking? Detention for the rest of the semester. God dang, bro. What kind of drugs is this hoe on, bro? I need some. So Dan gets home late as fuck after detention. Runo yells at his ass, and then Marucho gives him the business about Masquerade, how he's never lost a battle or whatever. And so Dan is like, I bet, I'm about to pull up. So Dan goes full internet gangster mode, drops the addy of where he wants to brawl Masquerade, and they both pull up. So they get to battling, and I'm not gonna lie, this nigga Masquerade was rolling Dan up into this big ass spliffy. Like, he did not have a single chance. But right before they brawled, he threw down a Doom card, which basically sends any defeated Bakugan on the other team to the Doom Dimension, which is basically a place where Bakugan can't escape. It sounds a lot like hell for Bakugan. So that's the real problem with Masquerade, not because he's winning all these battles, like who cares? Like, he's sending Bakugan to their hell. And so Dan throws Drago out and he starts boxing up with Masquerade's partner, Reaper, until, you know, that plot armor kicks in. Masquerade was about to spliff him, but you know how that plot armor works. And then Dan won the fight. Okay, so now in the next episode, Dan fights Spectra. Ricky. Okay, so let me explain this to you right now. When I call a character's name a different name on purpose, it means that they had the same voice actor. Okay, that's all it is. But this nigga Rikamaru got a Doom card from Masquerade, so Dan's like, oh shit, and Drago's like, yo, be careful when you're fighting this battle. And Dan is like, okay, I got it. But more than obviously, there's something this nigga Dan is not getting because Ricky is just scam positive, not even scam likely. And Drago stay trying to warn him. So then watch what happens. Watch this. He sends Siege out and then kills all the Bakugan on the field, just like Drago tried to tell Dan. So Drago's mad as fuck seeing his other Bakugan go into the Doom Dimension. He's like, nigga, what's wrong with you? Didn't you hear me talking? Dan's like, shut your ass up and win me this fight. Like, what? There is only one other time Dan acts like a little bitch this entire series. So I don't know what's going on, but definitely some character development, some character growth happened within the next 2 episodes, because he never acts like this again. Like, he sounded like a little fucking kid, just completely disregarding the fact that 2 of his Bakugan got sent to the Doom Dimension.
Just do it. Win. That's all that matters right now.
That's like running somebody over in a car, and then the passenger is like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And then you turn at them and look and say, "Well, it doesn't matter. Insurance isn't that high." So Dan throws Drago on siege, but Drago just knows that Ricky has a G-Power swap card, so he actually didn't want Dan to boost his power level. And I guess for this episode, gate cards don't open on command, and they open by themselves automatically after a certain period of time. Just for this one episode, though. So Drago deactivates the ability card. Dan's like, "What the fuck? You have a lower power level." Obviously, he gets his ass whooped by Siege because he has a lower power level. But then that G-Power swap card activates by itself. And he ends up having a higher power level by the end of the fight and wins the game. So after the fight, Drago's tight as hell. He's like, "Yo, what the fuck? You stay not listening to me. If I listened to you, I would have been dead in the Doom Dimension. Oh yeah, and my 4 other fellow Bakugan are in the Doom Dimension." So Dan's like, "You talking a lot of shit, Drago." Throws this nigga off the bridge and into the river, bro. What the fuck? Bro, there's no way I just saw that for real, bro. But it really don't matter because he goes back into the river and goes and gets Drago and they make up or whatever. But that was only after Dan got beat by a fucking nerd. But it's okay because Dan and Drago put him in a spliff the same day. But yeah, after episode 3, it's pretty much the same premise. Masquerade recruits somebody to go take down Dan and some of the other brawlers and gives them a Doom card. And then the episode is based off of that brawl. We are introduced to characters like Jenny and Jules, who are like 2 famous pop stars, and then we get like the 2 magicians, so they're obviously tag team battles and shit. It was pretty interesting. Also, Runo has a partner, Tigrera. She's aggressive in battle, but in ball form, she's like a kind old lady and is like Runo's emotional support. Then Preyas is Marucho's partner, who's most definitely the personality out of the group. This dude dead acted like he was an alien robot when they spotted him, bruh. Oh yeah, and my boy can change attributes, which is a concept I didn't even think that they were going to get into until the entire next season. And since we're getting into characters, I might as well tell y'all about Hal G, who is basically Masquerade's boss and works directly under Naga. Then Julie has Gorum, who is a Subterra talking Bakugan, has the power to attack Bakugan before he even stands, bro. This nigga is valid. And he's also like a gentle giant kind of dude and gives Julie a whole bunch of confidence that she otherwise would not have. In battle, at least. She'd be going crazy outside of battles. Anyway, so Runo and Marucho pull up to Shun's crib and is like, "Yo, you are nice as hell at battling, bro. We need you to help us beat Masquerade. He's sending all of our Bakugan to the Doom Dimension." Shun looks at them and is like, "Boy, I don't give a fuck. Get the fuck out of my house, pussy." So Marucho and Runo get to step in after they realize they couldn't do shit. But then Shun with his ninja ass jumps in front of them and is like, "If the 2 of you can beat me, then I'll help you out." So they're like, "The 2 of us? 2v1? Bet, that's gonna be easy." They must not know who the fuck they're brawling. Bro, Shun beat the both of them with his motherfucking eyes closed, bro. It wasn't even funny. But let's get into some of that Shun backstory, okay? So he's fronting, acting like he doesn't play Bakugan anymore because this shit is too easy for him. But it's really because his mom is sitting there sick in the hospital, bruh. And mind you, this is taking place before the events of the show. So at this point, Dan is confused as to why Shun separated himself from the friend group. He was explaining how they used to grow up together, how they used to kick it, how he helped make the rules to Bakugan. And so he's like, "Yo, why you switching up?" But nah, bro, Shun's really going through it. The last thing his mom did before she died in this man Shun's arms was give him his partner Skyrus, bro. That shit was heavy as hell, bro. Shit got me shedding a tear, bro. But his grandfather already acting like a bitch before he has custody. Like, "You're not going to be doing this Bakugan. You are going to be doing your schoolwork." Like, shut the fuck up. So now we're back to the present, and Dan pulls up on Shun after Marucho and Runo failed to, and he's like, "Shun, what's good with you?" And then this nigga Masquerade steps behind him. So he's like, what the hell? So then Masquerade gives Shun a Doom card, but then Shun throws that shit away and is like, bruh, I don't need your assistance, nigga. This fight's between me and Dan. So Dan's talking about, I'll fight the both of you guys if you're not pussy.
What?
Like, what are you talking about? You'll fight the both of them. Both Shun and Masquerade at this point are just in an entirely different league than Dan. So I don't know what this nigga's capping about. But sadly, that's what ends up happening. So because this is our first major fight in the series, I'm going to have to walk you through it as I'll do for the rest of the major fights in the series. Bro, this man Masquerade had nothing in his hands, throws that shit, and then a Bakugan appears. Bro, I'm telling you, he is not human, bro. So Dan goes full pussy mode, throws a Sting Lash across from Masquerade's Bakugan, which is Laser Man, by the way. But then this nigga said, you ain't dodging this smoke. Activates that ability card. Laser Man turns around and starts spliffing Sting Lash. So this nigga gets sent to the Doom Dimension. Dan's like, ew, they didn't even brawl yet. But Shun gets a little shook seeing the Doom Dimension, but nevertheless throws out Monterus, you know what I'm saying, with a sexy ass stand, might I add. And then Masquerade throws out Reaper, Drago's shook, and then Dan is like, I'm not about to fight this nigga. He throws out Garganoid on his own card, again playing the pussy move. But as much as they don't get along, Masquerade and Shun do have one thing in common, and that is sending the smoke regardless of where you are in the battlefield. You don't even have to be on the same card as him. He's gonna spliff you anyways, and that's exactly what Shun did. And then Masquerade opens a third Judgment Gate card, which basically stops the battle until a third Bakugan is on that card, making it a 2v1. So basically, Masquerade wanted Shun to throw his Bakugan so they could both gang up on Drago, but then Shun is like, fuck that shit. Like, I been told you I fight by my own terms. Throws that shit on his own card. So Masquerade's like, alright, whatever, nigga. Masquerade throws another Bakugan on the field, and it's this nigga Hydronoid, the main antagonist Bakugan. You could tell he's about that smoke. Listen to how he roars. Nah, you know it's over after that. Niggas over here looking at his power level. That shit says 450. God damn! But then this nigga starts talking about how he's the most powerful Bakugan ever. And I'm sorry, but that title has been thrown around way too much this series.
I am Vladitor, the Lord of all Bakugan.
Most powerful Bakugan, Pyrus Helios. Bakugan BRAWL! I am the most powerful Bakugan ever.
Like, that's already 3 niggas. Like, shut your ass up. But anyways, Dan activates Boosted Dragon and thinks he lit Hydronoid in a spliffy until he starts laughing. Just straight up ate that ability card, bruh. So right before Hydronoid spliffs Drago, Shun teleports Drago to his Bakugan's card, where Drago spliffs Shun's Bakugan because Drago had the higher power level, basically sacrificing his Bakugan for Drago. So Reaper starts talking that good shit, like, I'm still about to spliff you and Drago, but then Hydronoid swings his tail at Reaper, and Masquerade's like, oh yeah, bro, I got Hydronoid, I don't need your ass anymore, sends Reaper to the Doom Dimension, his own partner, bro. Masquerade is not about those games, bro. So Shun's like, yo, I've had enough, bro. Masquerade, you're a fiend. I see why Runo Marucho tried to get me to help them. And Dan's like, oh yeah. And so they gang up on Masquerade. So in the middle of their fight, when Hydronoid is unable to automatically spliff them like he thought that he was going to, you know what I'm saying? He gets mad as hell, starts going crazy and shooting every other Bakugan on the field, including his own. But then Masquerade's like, the more Bakugan Hydronoid sends to the Doom Dimension, the stronger he gets. So this is a win-win, my nigga. So then Shun and Dan use that teamwork to put Hydronoid in a temporary spliff, and then Masquerade leaves the match, leaving Shun and Dan to fight. And you can only guess who won that fight. So then after this, Shun agrees to be a part of the squad again, and we go forward from here. Now, Julie's childhood friend Billy walks into a room full of niggas who are all top-ranked brawlers, right? And he's like, what's good? And so everybody states their rank. You got this nigga Klaus, ranked number 2. This bitch Chan, ranked number 3. Julio, ranked number 4, I think. And then Kamba, with a dramatic-ass intro, ranked number 5. And then you have Billy, who's ranked number 10. Automatically niggas start roasting his ass, calling him double digits, bro. Like, them niggas are vile as hell. But anyways, if you want me to be completely honest, more than half of them are only top ranked brawlers because they have talking Bakugan. I mean, Klaus is good at the game, and Chan is good at the game. Everybody else gets carried by their Bakugan. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, it turns out that they were all invited to this mansion by Masquerade. And he's basically like, yo, y'all niggas work for me now. Go and destroy Dan and the Battle Brawlers. And then everybody here is like, oh, I bet. No problem, Masquerade. And you're probably wondering why they're so hell-bent on destroying the Battle Brawlers and why they just turn into complete assholes all of a sudden. I'll explain that later. Just know that there is a reason. So then Alice brings the squad to Dr. Michael's lab. And Dr. Michael is her grandfather and the scientist that discovered the Bakugan card and shit. And he basically explains to the brawlers what I explained to you in the very beginning of this video. But then this nigga Hal G appears on the screen and starts talking crazy. So Drago's like, oh yeah, this nigga Dr. Michael must have been exposed to some negative energy, which turned him into Hal G. So after that, they do some investigating, trying to find the portal into Vestroya for some fucking reason. But then they get stopped by Billy and Comba, who tag team against Shun and Julie. And I'm not gonna lie, Shun was rolling everybody in a spliff. They would have lost the fight if it weren't for Shun, my nigga. If Shun asked Julie for money, she should double whatever he asked for, bro. So after this, they look for another entrance into Vestroya, but then they're stopped by Chan. So they're like, how the fuck do these niggas keep appearing where we appear, bro? But Dan is like, I got this one, guys. And so him and Chan Li square up. And this fight was actually entertaining as fuck. It took almost the entire episode. At this point in the show, animation is getting better. The fights are getting more entertaining. You know what I'm saying? New ability cards are being added. New gate cards and shit. But this right here, how the fuck does Fortress automatically win that? Nothing happened. Bro, free my nigga Siege from the Doom dimension. So previously in the battle, Dan was up by 2 gate cards, but then Chan Li revives her lost Bakugan. So now she's up by 2. And this is bad because one Bakugan can only have so many ability cards, let alone enough to fight 3 whole Bakugan. So at this point, we're kind of scared for Drago, you know what I'm saying? It's looking likely that he's about to go into that Doom dimension. But luckily for Drago, his body's in the process of burning up and just miraculously spiking in G-power. So is this plot armor? Maybe, because for one, he is in the process of evolving, but 2, shit like this never happens again. So I don't know. So during this shot, you can kind of get a feel for how intense the battle is, and Drago's power is just going up, you know what I'm saying? That evolution pack is kicking in, you know what I'm saying? And so they end up spliffing Chan Li and Fortress. So just in case you're wondering how they're getting from place to place, they're in Marucho rich ass's jet, you know what I'm saying? So basically, they're sitting at the round table and they're like, okay, since there's obviously somebody spying on us, we just have to make it public as to where we're going. So when they do that, this nigga Klaus invites them to his mansion, and he doesn't have what he said he'd have. He said that if y'all pull up, I'll give you information about Vestroya and the Silent and Infinity Core. This nigga just wanted to brawl, bro. So because of this, Marucho says he wants to smoke. Like, Marucho, this is the number 2 brawler. Maybe you want Shun to battle him? I don't know. Even Dan's overconfident ass is like, that's not a good idea. But this nigga Marucho's like, well, based off of the analysis of my research, I can predict everything he's gonna do in battle. Okay, maybe he should have had Shun brawl with him and Alice coaching him at the same time. Because not only is this nigga Klaus good at the game, he's evil as fuck, bro. This nigga sent prayers to the Doom dimension! So this nigga's crying and shit, and this nigga, he just laughed! Now this nigga Marucho cries a lot, but I'm not gonna lie, this one was kind of sad. They put the montage of them talking to each other and shit, and this nigga Marucho is begging this nigga just to give praise back to him, bro. Got the whole squad crying. This nigga Klaus von Hertzten says something along the lines of, if you weren't so ass at Bakugan, this would never happen to you. Oh my gosh, call this nigga Klaus Von Hertem, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if this nigga Klaus Von Hertem wore this shit on a t-shirt whenever he was around Marucho, bro. But anyways, this nigga Klaus walks through a portal. Marucho, angry / sad ass, walks after him, and then Runo walks after Marucho, and then the portal closes. It turns out it was a portal to Masquerade's secret hideout, but after gaining minuscule information, this nigga Julio catches these niggas sneaking around. So Runo's like, I bet I'ma battle you, because Marucho doesn't have a Bakugan partner anymore. So Dan is like, you know what? I'm fetched to help you, Runo. And this nigga joins in the fight. I guess I was wrong about your boy Julio, because he was spliffing Dan and Runo, and on top of that, he was up 3 gate cards while he got them both down to just 1. So, yeah, this nigga is top tier, my fault. And he would have won, but at the end of the day, Drago's going through an evolution, so you're getting your pack smoked. Oh yeah, and Dan is finally wearing his shades this episode. We gotta take note of that. So Julie challenges Billy into a battle, but then this nigga Billy just smoked on her pack. I'm sorry. Nigga caught the meanest uppercut to the jaw, bro. So Gorham is about to get sent to the Doom Dimension, but Julie is on top of him. So if he gets sent to the Doom Dimension, she gets sent to the Doom Dimension, and her favorite childhood toy falls out of her pocket while this is happening. It turns out that this nigga Billy was the one that gave Julie that toy when they were kids. So, you know, shit's getting all sentimental. Billy's like, am I for real about to send her to the Doom Dimension? And then Masquerade comes out of nowhere and is like, oh yeah, send her to the Doom Dimension. If you send her to the Doom Dimension, I'll bump you up to number 9 in the world instead of number 10. They won't be roasting you anymore. But Dan is like, word to Miyoko Kuso, if you don't take that Doom card out, I'ma beat your ass. And Masquerade tried to get in the way, but he's like, watch out, bitch. But at the end of the day, Billy was like, I'm not about to do this crazy shit, and calls out the Doom card, bro. Masquerade was tight as hell. But Gorham and Julie were both spared, and somehow Julie is not mad at Billy for almost killing her and her Bakugan. Like, shit, wanna be me, my nigga. Now, back on Marucho Rich Ass's private jet, the Battle Brawlers start talking to Billy, who's apologetic, and he's like, I don't know what came over me. And then Drago presses his ass. He said, tell me exactly what happened. Turns out, while Masquerade was giving the whole y'all niggas work for me now speech, he exposed them to Naga, who then brainwashed them using the Silent Core's negative energy. That's the exact reason why the 5 of the alternative brawlers were so pressed to take down the Battle Brawlers, despite Masquerade being in their lives for 2 seconds. So Dan gets all riled up. He's like, yo, this nigga Masquerade's going crazy, brainwashing people. We have to stop him. And then Runo's like, yeah, but we need to take shit 1 step at a time. And then they end up getting into an argument. And then this nigga Shun is like, you know what? I'm not about to sit here and listen to y'all motherfuckers argue and shit. Walks off the private jet. Then Shun basically says that Dan has the patience of a child. He's like, my nigga, stop acting like we're friends. My nigga, I'm not about to be up in this plane with you. I'm leaving, you feel me? Alice believes in friendship, so she follows Shun. So while this nigga Shun is walking alone with Alice, this nigga Combo comes out of nowhere and presses him. He's like, yo, let's battle right now. In all honesty, he was way too hyped for the ass whooping that he was about to get, but he pops down and, you know, they start battling, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna lie, this nigga Shun 3-0'd Combo. That shit wasn't even a challenge to him. Even the Bakugan coach herself, Alice, was impressed. She was like, yeah, you not getting a single gate card. But I'm not gonna lie, this man Shun, you know, he's way better than anybody else so far, except for Masquerade. But I mean, he just kept spamming blow away, and that's the reason why he won this fight. Let's not get it confused.
Ability card activate! Blow away! Ability card activate! Ha! Blow away! Blow away! Ha!
I wish they actually mixed it up a little bit, because technically any Ventus brawler can do that. So after getting his ass kicked, Combo blames it on his Bakugan Harpus, and is dead about to throw hands with his own Bakugan in ball form. Like, what the fuck? But after that, Combo asked Shun to be his mentor and would not get off of his nuts. And that's when Shun is like, you know what? The team is better than this motherfucker right here. So he goes back to the brawlers. The point is that Billy and Combo are free of Naga's brainwashing, and the other 3 alternative brawlers aren't. But this nigga Naga's mad as hell, summons Masquerade and Hal G, yells at this nigga Hal G. And so he's like, yo, Maybe Masquerade should battle the Brawlers now. And Masquerade's like, bet, Naga, I got you. He goes back to Earth and basically tells Chan, Julio, and Klaus von Hertem that y'all niggas need to up it. You know what I'm saying? And so they devise a plan to attack the Brawlers all at once. So the three of them pull up on the Brawlers once they get finished dropping Combo back off in Africa or wherever the fuck he lives. Marucho wants all that smoke because Klaus von Hertem heard him. And then Julio wants to throw hands with Runo. So, you know, it's the Pyrus, Aquas, and Chaos battlers against the other Pyrus, Aquas, Chaos battlers. You know what I'm saying? And this fight took 2 episodes. You already know this is a major brawl. So, you know, they start their brawl. They throw down their Doom cards. And I'm not going to lie, the battle brawlers at first were getting spliffed up, because this nigga Marucho is working off of anger, and then Dan and Runo are still mad at each other. So there is no teamwork or coordination or whatever. And this is why I call this nigga Klaus von Hertem. This nigga looks at Marucho, he's like, hey, yo, I got a surprise for you, buddy. Throws down his Bakugan, but oh wait, that shit kind of looks familiar. Oh shit, it's Preyas! Ain't no way! But this man Preyas starts acting like Dougie B on the Percocets. Like, what the fuck is going on? Turns out Klaus exposed Preyas to a lot of negative energy. Didn't actually send him to the Doom Dimension. But anyways, Preyas is also brainwashed. But throughout the battle, this nigga Klaus von Hertem keeps using Preyas to spliff Marucho's Bakugan, just making Marucho mad as hell, bro. Like, this nigga is vile. So towards the end of this battle, they start working together as a team and eventually are able to get Preyas back on Marucho's team. So the Brawlers start making a comeback until they're able to trick Drago onto one card and make it a 3v1 with all of their other talking Bakugan. And just to make sure that they win the actual fight, send Drago to the Doom Dimension, they start activating their ability cards. And I'm like, bro, what is the point? Like, y'all are going overkill. To even out the fight a little bit, Preyas and Tigrera give Drago their power and check out of the fight. And because of this, Drago goes into this like metamorphosis, but it's like a ball of molten rock. His power level's increasing. He's evolving, okay? I'm gonna just tell you right now. And so they're like, oh, hell nah. Chan activates an ability card, but nigga, this is the best evolution segment. I'm gonna just let y'all watch. Oh yeah! So they're shook and they double check the power level. Drago's still down 100 Gs despite him evolving. So they start laughing and shit. Ha 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 ha.
Ability card activate!
Are you stupid? Do you think a newly evolved Bakugan wouldn't have a new ability card? That's the point of evolving. Then sets that shit off, my nigga sends a fireball, but that shit has meteors attached to it. Spliffed all of them. BRAWL if you ask me. Hearing Cyranoid scream was also satisfying. So now since the three of them are free from Naga's brainwashing, Klaus gives Preyas back to Marucho. And so they're like, alright, we can see that. It wasn't your fault, you know what I'm saying? Y'all need a ride home? This nigga Klaus is like, nigga, I'm rich too. I got a private jet on my way here as we speak. And then they're like, alright, well, we'll catch y'all later then. This nigga Shun is like, wait. So he's like, do y'all niggas know somebody by the name of Joe? We think he's the spy. Chan is like, yeah, I know him. He's a Make-A-Wish kid. Okay, let me stop. She's like, yeah, he's a sickly kid in the hospital, you know what I'm saying? And then Dan is on his middle school shit. He's like, how do you know? Y'all are dating or something? But then, like, this nigga Chan's face turns red, so obviously, bro. Now, just to recap really quickly, the Brawlers think that there's somebody spying on them because the other Brawlers showed up to their locations wherever they went. And obviously, since the other Brawlers were associated with Masquerade, they think that the spy is obviously working for Masquerade as well. So they're going to the hospital under the presumption that Joe works for Masquerade. But something's not adding up because when they pull up to the hospital, Joe's mom is like, oh, you guys must be Joe's friends. Thanks for coming to see him. Makes them cookies and shit. But Shun does not have time for this. Look at his face, bro. Dan eventually catches up with Joe, and he's like, yo, tell me if you work for Masquerade. This nigga Joe is like, I remember when I found my first Bakugan, like, bro, are you high? Nigga's acting all delirious, and Dan comes to the conclusion that it is this man's first time in a hyperspace. Meaning that he never brawled before. But Dan don't give not one fuck. He's like, everybody could get the smoke. Starts battling this nigga hard as hell until this nigga Joe throws out a Bakugan and gets a heart attack mid-throw. This nigga faints on the ground. I'm like, oh my god, bro. Dan, you fucked up. So Dan ends the brawl. He rushes him back to the hospital. And, you know, like I'm saying, character growth. He's over there worried about Joe feeling guilty and shit. Obviously, this nigga doesn't work for Masquerade, but it's fine because he wakes up a few minutes later. Basically, he just wanted to brawl. He's an internet freak. He's not a spy because, you know, he's on the web. He has nothing else to do, you know, being in a hospital and all. But anyways, Dan is like, you part of the team now, my nigga. This next episode is slow as hell. It's basically just existing to give Alice her shine, you know what I'm saying? She helps out this little boy who's getting bullied by someone who's better than him at Bakugan. So the Brawlers are like, if Joe's not a spy, obviously it has to be somebody within the group. She thinks it's Shun's grandfather, Julie, and smacks the shit out of him with this rubber fucking hammer. How the fuck are you a ninja and you get knocked out by a rubber hammer? I've never been so disappointed in my entire life. So Dan and Runa are walking down the strip and they're talking shit. They're like, Alice is probably the spy. Alice overhears that ass. So while they're walking down the strip, they run into Gabriel, Fat Ass, and their little sister, Nene. I shit you not, that is her name. And since Alice coached them through the whole battle, Runo's like, I'm sorry for doubting you. Dan said that shit in his head, but you know how men don't show their emotions. That fucking stereotype. Now, this next episode is crazy. So niggas is just walking, right? But then this nigga, Julio, oh my gosh, this nigga faints on the ground. Niggas are like, call an ambulance, call an ambulance. Then you just see this nigga Masquerade. This nigga's laughing. He said, good night, nigga. So Runo quits Bakugan because she's like, you know what? Too many of my Bakugan are in the Doom Dimension. I don't want to lose you to Tigrera. But it doesn't fucking matter because she retires from retiring by the end of this episode. Meanwhile, Chan-Li is fighting Masquerade and she's going hard as hell. They both are, actually. I can't even lie. But Masquerade is low-key spliffing the fuck up out of Chan, bro.
Hey, Chan, you might want to check your Baku pod again.
That's a sentence you never want to hear come out of Masquerade's mouth. Sends both of her Bakugan to the Doom Dimension at once. And he's like, my nigga, I'm just getting started. Throws his Bakugan to Fortress's card. And now we're like, oh shit, this nigga Fortress is about to get packed up, bruh. Do something, Chan. So she starts increasing her power level like crazy. And diehard fans knew that she could have just used a different ability card and won the entire fight. But, you know, plot. Masquerade ends up throwing that game-changing ability card and actually has Hydronoid spliff this nigga Fortress. I'm like, damn. So now you already know what he's gonna do to everybody else. Masquerade paid a visit to Komba, sent Harpus to the Doom Dimension, then he linked up with Billy, sent my boy Cycloid to the Doom Dimension, and finally, Klaus von Hertum. And nah, bro. Klaus was the one who got hurt this time, bro. Mid-fight, this nigga's eyes start glowing, and we're like, okay, this nigga lifts his head up. Tell me why another head lifts up at the same time. This nigga Hydronoid just evolved. As if Klaus von Hertum didn't have a chance beforehand. Now he really doesn't have a chance. I mean, this is just sad. I did put this shit in slow motion, bro. Masquerade sitting there roasting Mr. von Hertum before he nullifies his gate card. And so his gate card was like his final play, basically. And it's a wrap. It's a wrap. He had to say goodbye at that point, bro. And that's how the episode ends. Masquerade literally just spliffed his top-ranked henchman. And if that's not crazy, I don't know what is. Now, Joe comes through from the hospital and tells the gang that the other brawlers got smoked by Masquerade. So they already know there's a problem, bro. You know it's bad when Klaus von Hertum is in his feelings, sitting there looking at the riverfront, blowing flower petals into that shit, crying and stuff. Oh my gosh. So while Alice is working, she's sitting there feeling sick or whatever and says she needs to lay down. So Runo goes and takes her away so she could lay down. There's a reason for this, but I won't say anything. Well, later that night, Masquerade shows up in one of Dan's dreams and is like, yo, if you're not pussy, let's go ahead and run this 1v1. And so he throws a card, an invitation letter at Dan in his dream, but then he wakes up and the card is there. So that shit was real, bro. That shit wasn't even a dream, bro. I'm telling you, this nigga Masquerade is inhuman. So, you know, the next day, Dan gives his mom a gift for her birthday, and it's this little pussy-ass frog keychain. But anyways, he goes off, and they got the whole squad pulling up to the brawl, you know what I'm saying? They got the montages, the montage music in the background, bro. This is it right here. Because this is the big fight, I gotta go through it. This is the major fight number 3. Masquerade throws down the second gate card and puts Wormquake on it. Interesting choice of Bakugan. I had never seen a motherfucking darkest Wormquake before. But Dan is like, I got you. Throws down a Griffin. And these Bakugan are strong now. Like, Griffin used to be like a good 330 Gs. Now that nigga's boasting a 390. But after fucking up Masquerade's gate card, you know, my boy Griffin gets the spliff in and wins Dan the first round, okay? So then, you think Masquerade would be tight. Nah, he's laughing, bro. Throws down Laserman. Dan's only thinking about power level, so he's like, alright, I'm about to throw down Griffin again. I got you. This nigga Masquerade opens the gate card. Nigga said Joker's wild. Now, I've never heard of that shit before. But this nigga Griffin got sent to the Doom Dimension automatically! Boy, ain't no way. There was only one other gate card in this entire series that was broken to that extent, bruh. So after Masquerade threw down Laserman again, Dan pulled up with Saurus, okay? And Saurus just automatically split Laserman, okay? But then my boy Masquerade came through with that Quicksand Freeze, you know what I mean? That gate card basically traps the Bakugan who won that battle, so they don't return back to their owner. So Saurus is just a sitting duck at this point. Then this nigga Masquerade lifts Hydronoid up. There is an aura, bro. There's a sound effect and a dark aura surrounding this nigga. Nigga's silhouette appears behind him. Like, what kind of shit is he on, bro? Nigga looks like rising clay that's molding into its bodily shape. Like, I've never seen no shit like that. Look, this how you know you fucked up. This man roared, and that shit made a gust of wind and pushed back everybody. No, Dan, you are not winning this fight. I'm sorry, bro. I mean, can we talk about how this nigga evolved is only 30 Gs more powerful than his unevolved form, bro? Like, come on. But anyways, Drago's like, Dan, put me in. I want all of these smokes. So, you know, he throws down Delta Dragonoid, you know what I'm saying? Delta Dragonoid. And they get to scrapping, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, Drago was throwing his shits, bro. He was throwing his shits. And Masquerade's over there in the back, sitting here with theater references, like he never does that shit again. I don't know why he was talking like that. So he activates his signature ability card, and then he shoots Saurus. He's like, psych, missed you on purpose. Saurus gets spliffed, you know what I'm saying? And then Drago turns around, sees that other one lit up like a gun flashing at somebody, bro. Dan activates his ability, sends that shot back at Hydronoid, and bro, it decapitated Hydronoid's right head, bro. And this is when I had to learn what HSP was. It's basically the difference in power levels when one person wins a fight against another. So if my Bakugan wins by 100 Gs, I get 100 HSP. And Masquerade gave some of that up in return of Hydronoid's head, bro. Like, what? We've never seen this shit happen before, and we never will see it happen again, bro. What the fuck? So the fight was counted on the draw, and they both had to rethrow their Bakugan on Dan's card. Dan opens his gate card, doubles Drago's power. Then my nigga Masquerade activates his ability card, and then Dan gets shook and activates his signature ability card, increasing Drago's power even more. And Masquerade pulls out an ability card. Tell me why that shit melts in his hand, bro. That's how you know that it's over. It's over. Dan is like, you can't beat me. Masquerade is like, boy, word to nog, I'm gonna beat you. I put that on Hal G. Drago sends his fireball at Hydronoid. Of course, that shit hit. Everybody's like, yeah. Then you hear Hydronoid talking his shit. Once again, he's like, that shit did nothing. And Dan's like, what the fuck? I was up by like 400 Gs. Nigga, take a look at your Bakupod, Goofy. Look at that shit. That shit's not adding up. Masquerade was like, remember that ability card that melted in my hand? Yeah, that shit also fucked up your gate card. And when I was a kid, that shit was like the equivalent of seeing the twist from Us, bro. I was like, oh shit. And that's what Dan was saying too, because he was basically like, damn, there's nothing I could do. How the fuck did this happen? And so Masquerade's corny ass is like, okay, Hydronoid, close his curtains, or whatever kind of goofy ass theater line he said. And so this nigga Hydronoid just starts spliffing Drago all the way up until he goes into the Doom Dimension. Yes, I repeat, the main character's Bakugan goes into the Doom Dimension. And so does the main character, because Dan ran after that ass. So the whole squad is shook. And then this nigga Masquerade was like, that was retarded. So Shun tries to give Masquerade the ninja hands while everybody's in the back crying. But then this nigga Masquerade just disappeared. And so this marks the end of the first half of season 1.